Welcome back to Anime Fight Club, everyone. My name is Grim. Today we're checking out Baki Dou Part 1, or Musashi Dou. We're continuing the fight. I believe this should be the ending of the fight between Musashi and Motobe. We'll be finishing Volume 15, Chapters 132 through 134, Chapter 132, entitled All Alone. The fight is over. Stop it already. Baki yells from the audience. You silly fool. We're past the point of no return, says Motobe, having this sword embedded in his body. You see the smoke coming from it. Oh, Ninja Boy, you're here. He called him Ninja Boy. If I stop now, I won't be able to protect you. So Musashi let his guard down for half a second to speak to Baki. And Motobe, having had both legs broken, well, both shins broken, his left wrist, and having been actually cut, has managed to tackle Musashi. He's caught him. He used a takedown. So Musashi has hit the ground. His fist and sword are touching the ground. Motobe mounts Musashi, puts his knee over his hand, which is holding his sword, which shouldn't allow him to pick it up, although Musashi is quite strong. So Motobe mounts him and then goes in for a headbutt, lands that dead center in Musashi's face, and says, "This is it. Thank you. This is going to be the last move. It's all I have left." So he's mounted Musashi. He just continues to headbutt him. He's just pounding his head into the ground repeatedly. One more chance. Lifts his foot. Gets Musashi in a headlock. I only have one last technique and strength enough to pull it off. Gets him in a headlock. This arm is useless. He shouldn't be able to control it on his own, so he's bitten it to be able to bring that arm together to fulfill this chokehold. I landed it just in time. Yeah, but Musashi still has his sword in his hand. He's caught him. No way. A rear naked choke. A sleeper's hold. This is it. The instructor beat him. Everyone's shocked, waiting to see what's going to happen next. Because as I just said, Musashi still has his blade in his hand. So he picks it up. It looks as though he's trying to cut him with the reverse edge of the blade. He is, in fact, he's cutting down what looks to be that same slit, right? But with the dull edge of the blade. Shibukawa is feeling that pain. Look at his face. That was useless. No matter what you do, I'll never let you go. Oh, so that was Motobe saying that was useless. My legs, I can't use them anymore. Even though your earlier attack didn't slash through the armor. Oh, okay. He just felt all that pain. One of my lungs still got smashed. Oh my goodness. My collarbone was shattered. And I lost the feeling of movement in my right arm. Okay. So that tells me, I thought he got cut, but he didn't. That chainmail stopped it, but he still felt the brunt of that force. If I loosen up my jaw, even only for an inch, I won't be able to protect them. What's killing me is he's maintained this mentality. He hasn't gotten selfish and wanted the glory and fame of defeating Musashi himself. Throughout all of this, he's still only trying to protect our fighters, my friends, myself, this era, and more importantly, your safety, Mr. Musashi. So who do you think you're protecting him from? Forgive me. I have only just... It looks as though Musashi's grip is either loosening or he's switching positions. Caught up with you now. These are all of our fighters. Man. I have only caught up with the place where you are, all alone, just now. This match is over. So he lets Musashi go. He should be unconscious. Chapter 133. Thank you. The match is over. Musashi's laying here unconscious. Apparently, Motobe has let go. He has one working limb. All the rest are done. And he has a sword embedded in his body. So all we have is the 8 or 10 people, the 8 or 10 warriors that are watching this fight. I wish Pickle would have stuck around so he could have seen Musashi in this state. You guys got the results you wanted. No damn complaints after this, right? What the hell? He went all the way just to protect us. So they all start to clap again, the overjoyed feelings of those who have been protected. A sense of freedom, of relief, of gratitude. To even have Jack putting his hands together is something else. The bitter feelings of those who have gone ahead and failed. Pickle, as they show us the image of this hallway. Dopo, Jack, Kureha. Their impatience, regret, jealousy, feelings that still remained. See, I got a feeling Musashi's finna get up and cut Motobe's head off, which I need none of. But Musashi is not a sporty dude. Like, he's been on some sneak type stuff this whole time. They keep calling him sneaky and dirty. Either way, Musashi finally regains consciousness, snatches himself up, says, "Oh," turns around to see Motobe sitting there, sword stuck in his shoulder. He's just sitting there looking at Musashi. He better not try nothing. Have some honor, dude. You lost. You told Baki you were unconscious for however long. Whoever he knocked out, he told them you would have been dead many times over because you were unconscious. Same goes for you. You better not try nothing. You lost. Okay, good. He turns around, goes Indian style, says, "I have lost. But before we settled the score, you slashed me so many times." You're wrong. Those were mere notifications. There is a big difference between a notification of "I'm about to slash you" with an actual serious slash. In other words, you were being considerate with me, huh? I might be your enemy, but I wasn't your stronger enemy. For instance, I noticed that you focus your attacks on my armor. Okay, yeah, because I guess if he would have went a little higher or even a little lower, he could have severed his feet or his whole, calf, everything, if he wanted to. Even though there were many critical spots where I was expecting you would just slash me straightforwardly, I knew this. You wrote it in the book of 5 rings long ago. 1,000 days of practice, 3 years will train you, but 10,000 days of practice, 30 years will polish you. You are still practicing for death situations, aren't you, Musashi? Even during this so-called death match, you never stopped practicing. Oh goodness. Even before we started this match, you had already decided that I was going to return alive from the battlefield. You are way too kind and merciful. Oh goodness, but that's dope for Motobe to have noticed, especially if he knows how strong Musashi is. I guess he figured that since he's left in this state, Musashi couldn't have been going all out from the beginning. So our warriors are sweating and shocked having heard this realization. You might be a force to reckon with when it comes to victory in battle, but when it comes to the act of killing, you were never a threat to the rest of us. Do you plan to be a deadly warrior from now on? Oh goodness. Musashi stands up. All right, Motobe. Grabs his sword. Surely he took those words as insults. It had to have been, "Do you plan to be a deadly warrior from now on?" Oh my goodness. He says, "All right, Motobe," grabs his sword, slashes him. Surely cutting through the chainmail. There's blood splattering out of that. Thank you. Even though you won the match. So he cut him as a display of, "You're right, I was holding back." He cut him to show him I could have always cut through that chainmail. Oh my goodness. What respect. What honor. Oh my goodness. The treasure of the era. Chapter 134. Motobe Izo's in the hospital. Everything's in casts. Both feet. His left hand. He looks rather big in the face of Baki. Baki's so small. So now they're about to have a conversation. I like when Baki meets these people in the hospital and talks to them. Retsu, Jack, I love it. "Mr. Motobe, I believe I owe you an apology. You came to each of us and announced, 'I will protect every one of you,' and that's very kind of you. But to strong fighters that aren't afraid of losing once in a while, that was somewhat insulting, to me at least. It's alright, Baki. I won't be sour about it. Motobe Izo is a loser. What will he do against that monster? I've heard this quite often. If you compare me as a bare-handed fighter against you guys who are true monsters, I am clearly nothing. But me, a middle-aged man who wins 10 times in a row in 10 fights using all the tools at my disposal, yeah, sure, what can that old Motobe do to protect us? I'm not surprised you're upset about it. I guess I ended up believing the hype about me and overestimated myself. No, that's not true. We failed to see the true potential of the warrior named Motobe Izo. But because of that, we have also failed to observe Miyamoto Musashi's real strength. I was blind and thoughtless. I failed to see the true warrior in you, and because of that, I am ashamed. And Baki bows, very deep bow too. You can't even see the top of his head. A lot of respect shown. Baki, you're too kind, my friend. For being the strongest kid on earth, you are truly a treasure. A symbol of this era. You have been born into and finally inherited the concept and the word strength into yourself. The ogre, the strongest creature on earth. He's extraordinary. He's the top representative of this world's system. We, the people of the world, just don't want to let go of him. Shibukawa Goki Sensei, his technique is already on the national treasure level. It's intangible cultural property that needs to be protected. If we talk about Orochi Doppo, he's the father of modern karate. If we remove Doppo, the god of martial arts, it will be the same as removing the sun from the karate style. We definitely can't let that happen. And speaking of the sun, if the sun had pride, it would be as big as the pride that only Hanayama Kaoru possesses. The transformed Orochi Katsumi, he's the second magnificent son of the karate world. And needless to say, Pickle is not an anomaly anymore. He's the property of mankind and a friend that needs to be helped and guided in the new world. Oh, beautiful words for Pickle. Love Pickle. We have Gaia's graceful arts of war, Kato Kyosumi, who took the path of darkness, but won't stray too far from the path of karate, Shinogi Kureha's anatomy of the arts of war, his younger brother Kosho's Zengekiryu technique, embodiment of Chinese martial arts, the longevity of Kaku Kaio, this great guy and that amazing guy there, with their incredible blah blah blah. All of you are treasures of this world, and none of you is an exception. It is as you say. But Baki, if I may ask, even though you all were born and connected in this remarkable era, that cloned product of rogue science, what about him? Where does he stand in this world? I am deeply touched that my name was mentioned among the world treasures. Dr. Kureha, if you must know, Miyamoto Musashi is on live TV right now. Eh? And that marks the end of volume 15. So I hope you guys enjoyed the conclusion of the fight between Miyamoto Musashi and Motobe Izo. I'm super glad Musashi lost, but it was also dope of the author to show us at the end of the fight that Musashi was holding back the whole time, because that still gives us reason to want to see him fight other people like Baki once he's figured something out, or Yujiro, you know what I'm saying? So that was awesome of the author to have him lose, but to still show that we haven't seen his true potential. So leave a comment below, guys. Leave King and Ashura is very good. It's honestly more intense than Baki. So if you guys haven't given that a chance, I highly suggest it. I promise you'll love it. I promise. You gotta trust me. You gotta trust me. If you've been here video after video, you gotta believe that I have good taste in what we're looking at. I'm not gonna just go completely off cue with some of the manga. I understand Oyaji and Okan were very different, but they were part of a deal. And honestly, I didn't even mind going through them. They were awesome. But they're not like, this is called AnimeFightClub. So typically we'll be going through action-based anime and manga. So King and Ashura is more savage than Baki. I promise you guys. Like when they punch someone in King and Ashura, they leave craters in their face. It's not just a hit and then on to the next scene. No, they are distorted. They are hurt, and it's insane. It's so good. So I don't know, guys, check that out, because I definitely will be watching it once it hits Netflix, and I'll review it the same way I did Baki. So hopefully you guys will believe me and go check that out, because it's very good. But anyway, subscribe, hit the thumbs up, please hit the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads. Go check out and subscribe to Grim Games. The link will be in the description. I hope to see you guys over there soon. Hope to see you next video, and as always, otaku for life.